The Eight Kings region is located in the southern part of the Relic continent. Covering tens of millions of miles, it occupies nearly 1/10 of the southern area. It is called the Eight Kings region because 8 powerful factions dominate this land, each ruling a corner of the region. Among these factions, even the weakest leader is an 8th grade supreme, while the strongest is rumored to have reached the terrifying level of an Earth Supreme. The Xun'er mountain range lies in the eastern part of the Eight Kings region. Spanning over 1,000,000 miles, it is filled with towering peaks piercing the clouds. Legends say this mountain range was once barren until thousands of years ago when a powerful being from a lower dimension known as the Tianyuan dimension broke free of its dimensional shackles and arrived here. Through spiritual energy assimilation, this being transformed a 1,000-mile radius of desolation into lush forest. Over the millennia, this vibrant forest expanded to cover the entire mountain range. Though the being's fate remains unknown, the thriving mountain range stands as a testament to their legacy. To honor this being, a local faction named the mountain range the Xun'er Mountain Range and established themselves as the Xun'er sect. However, the once vital mountain range is now steeped in blood. At its center, towering pavilions stand atop shattered peaks, evidence of a massive battle. Shwa, shwa, shwa. Countless sounds of air being torn apart echoed as thousands of experts gathered around the mountain range. Some hailed from the Eight Kings region, while others came from beyond. They had all been drawn here for a significant event. Has that kid shown up yet? Heh, people from the lower dimensions have no footing in the Great Thousand Worlds. Even those lower dimension alliances avoid meddling with super races here. I bet he won't come. You underestimate true powerhouses. That Xiao Yan is rumored to be an Earth Supreme, no weaker than the Xinling Hall Master. Hiss, an Earth Supreme? Can someone from the lower dimensions truly be that strong? There are countless lower dimensions, and extraordinary talents occasionally arise. Some leaders of those lower dimension alliances are even heavenly supremes, let alone Earth Supremes. That Xiao Yan is far from ordinary. Speaking of Xinling Hall, they're the overlord of the mystic spirit heaven region. Yet, they've injured and imprisoned one of our kings here in the Eight Kings region. Why hasn't the Heavenly King Hall reacted? Its leader, Wang Tiangang, is also an Earth Supreme. Isn't this an insult to the Eight Kings region's honor? Who knows? Wang Tiangang's silence is strange. Maybe we should start calling this place the Seven Kings region. Voices of debate filled the mountain's perimeter as countless eyes turned to its center. There, atop a towering peak, stood a massive hall, and before it, 100-meter-wide space prison held thousands of figures. Among them was a trembling young girl, Xiao Yan's previous rescue, Yirong. Shielding her was a middle-aged man, the Xun'er sect's leader, Yi Jianshan. His blood-stained robes and pale face revealed significant injuries. Behind the prison, 3 elderly men sat on chairs formed from condensed space. Their strongest, a 9th grade supreme, was Xinling Hall's Grand Elder, previously defeated by Xiao Yan. The other 2, both 8th grade supremes, included Xinling Hall's 2nd and 3rd elders, one of whom had also suffered defeat at Xiao Yan's hands. The trios in different gazes locked onto the prison. 2.5 days had passed since their Hall Master's ultimatum. If Xiao Yan did not appear within half a day, they would kill 300 members of the Xun'er sect every hour until none remained. Suddenly, space above the vast mountain range twisted. From within emerged 2 figures, a young man in white robes and an elder in brown robes. They are from the Spirit King Manor. The arrival of the young man and the elder immediately drew the attention of many. It didn't take long for everyone to recognize them as individuals from the Spirit King Manor, the 3rd king among the Eight Kings region. It was said that the Manor Lord of the Spirit King Manor had advanced to the 9th grade Supreme decades ago, surpassing even the sect master of the Xun'er sect by a small margin. Suspended in midair, the white-robed youth and the brown-robed elder stood firmly, gazing at the mountaintop ahead. These people from the mystic spirit heaven region are far too disrespectful toward our Eight Kings region, the white-robed youth said angrily. The Heavenly King Hall has been utterly silent. They're clearly showing weakness, the brown-robed elder remarked with helplessness. Swoosh. Suddenly, the sound of air being sliced apart rang out. A figure wielding a long sword flew rapidly from the distant sky. It was a young man whose energy had already reached the 4th grade supreme level. That's Jian Tao from the Sword King sect. He's rumored to be one of the future successors of the Sword King sect. The Sword King is one of the 8 kings. It's said that the Sword King once slew 2 8th grade supremes with a single strike over a decade ago. Truly terrifying. Hum. As discussions spread throughout the crowd, space at the edge of the mountain range began to distort. From the left side of the mountain, 2 figures appeared midair, a man and a woman. They are Wu Xin, the master of the Lotus King Manor, and his wife, Lian Yun. It's said they cultivate a combined technique and divine art, allowing them to escape unscathed from an Earth Supreme powerhouse. As Wu Xin and Lian Yun arrived, another space distortion occurred, and a figure emerged, a blue-robed elder with hair half white and half black. The sight of this elder caused a stir across the crowd. It's the Yin Patriarch of the Palace of Yi King. Hasn't he been missing for 100 years? The Yin Patriarch was a Grand Elder of the Palace of Yi King a century ago, and had already reached the 9th grade supreme. With him missing for a century, I assumed he had passed away. As the crowd buzzed with discussions, Wu Xin and Lian Yun from the Lotus King Manor were equally astonished by the blue-robed elder's appearance. How could they not recognize the Yin Patriarch, whose reputation was formidable even before his disappearance? To think that the actions of Xinling Hall have even drawn out this old monster. It's said that the Yin Patriarch was saved a millennium ago by a former sect master of the Yuanda sect. Could it be that he's here to help them? Lian Yun speculated. Let's wait and see, Wu Xin replied. The Yin Patriarch wouldn't appear without reason, but his temperament is notorious. Xinling Hall is likely in for some embarrassment. What if Xinling Hall does decide to strike at the Yuanda sect? Lian Yun asked again. We'll act accordingly. If more than 5 of the kings oppose Xinling Hall, we'll make our move. The 8 kings region won't stand for this kind of bullying, Wu Xin said, narrowing his eyes. The Heavenly King Hall may be cowards, but we are not. Hearing this, Lian Yun nodded. If Xinling Hall dared to target the Yuanda sect, it meant they could target any of the other 6 kings apart from the Heavenly King Hall. They wouldn't sit idly by. In the center of the mountain range, the Grand Elder of Xinling Hall lifted his head slightly, his lips curling into a faint smile as he looked at the Yin Patriarch. Well, isn't this the Yin Patriarch of the Palace of Yi King, missing for a century? So, you're still alive, the Grand Elder said, smiling faintly. And who do you think you are? The Yin Patriarch retorted coldly. A mere 9th grade supreme, who hasn't even touched the Earth Supreme realm dares to speak to me like that? In terms of seniority, you wouldn't even qualify as my grandson. Release them, have your hall master apologize to the 8 kings region, and get out of here. The Grand Elder's expression darkened. He could clearly sense that the Yin Patriarch's aura surpassed his by a significant margin, nearing the Earth Supreme realm. It was evident the Patriarch had spent his century of disappearance in secluded cultivation, seeking a breakthrough. If he succeeded in reaching the Earth Supreme realm, the Palace of Yi King would rival the Heavenly King Hall, and the latter's dominance over the 8 kings region would be shaken. Heh, and who dares demand an apology from me? A resonant voice suddenly echoed through the heavens. Everyone in the mountain range was taken aback, while the 3 elders of Xinling Hall looked relieved. Ripples spread from the spatial prison, and a figure appeared. The commotion ceased as all eyes turned to the new arrival with awe. It was none other than the hall master of Xinling Hall, Zhigu. Of course, that would be me, Zhigu said with a faint smile, his presence exuding an undeniable authority. Adding the 2 behind you as well? The master of Xinling Hall, Zhigu, sneered coldly as he looked at the Yin Patriarch. As expected, there's an enormous gap compared to a true Earth Supreme, to be seen through at a glance. Just as Zhigu's voice trailed off, a sigh sounded behind the Yin Patriarch. The space twisted, and a man in a crimson robe, carrying a blood-red blade, emerged from the distortion. It's the cave master of the Fire King Cave, the Heavenly Fire Supreme. The Heavenly Fire Supreme? The one who once incinerated an 8th grade supreme to nothingness with a single strike. The appearance of the crimson-robed man stirred waves of astonishment throughout the heavens and earth. At that moment, another figure appeared behind the Xun'er patriarch, a crone wielding a cane. Even the sacred matron of Holy King Mountain is here. It seems the Xun'er patriarch came prepared. King Palace, Fire King Cave, Holy King Mountain. 3 kings joining forces. Looks like they plan to confront Xinling Hall head-on. The appearance of the crimson-robed man and the crone left many observers in awe. Hee, Zhigu, why make a fuss over someone from the lower dimension? The sacred matron, having appeared, addressed the master of Xinling Hall with a smile. How about this? Give us some face and release the members of the Xun'er sect. As for that lower dimension powerhouse humiliating your 3 elders, I'll compensate you with 1,000,000 drops of supreme spiritual liquid. No can do. Any lower dimension powerhouse who dares offend my Xinling Hall must die. Zhigu replied coldly. Such arrogance. Why don't you go and attack the primordial ancient dragon clan? They're all descendants of lower dimension powerhouses, the heavenly fire supreme mocked. Bullying someone who just arrived in the great 1,000 worlds only makes you look cowardly. Let me be frank. Zhigu sneered. Thousands of years ago, a powerhouse who broke through from the lower dimension killed the first hall master of Xinling Hall. That lower dimension powerhouse descended upon the Xun'er mountain range back then. The first hall master of Xinling Hall was my great-grandfather. What? The first hall master of Xinling Hall? Xinling Venerable? Wasn't he said to have perished during his attempt to ascend to Earth Supreme thousands of years ago? Impossible. Was he really killed by a lower dimension powerhouse? Why was there no word of this? You fool. The lack of news was because Xinling Hall kept it hidden. The heavens and earth buzzed with speculation. That's why I can't let any lower dimension powerhouse who dares offend Xinling Hall live, Zhigu declared. Well, that's unfortunate, Hall Master Zhigu. You're determined to seek revenge against these lower dimension powerhouses, but this is the 8 Kings region. If we let you harm the Xun'er sect, where will our honor go? The Heavenly Fire Supreme remarked. Thus, we will stop you from acting against the Xun'er sect, the sacred matron added. If that's the case. Zhigu's eyes narrowed as he glanced at the 3 before him. His voice rang out, echoing across the land. Master of the Heavenly King Hall, show yourself. Zhigu's words sent shockwaves through the onlookers, who watched as a figure gradually appeared atop a distant mountain peak behind Zhigu. The rippling space revealed a shadowy presence, causing an uproar throughout the heavens and earth. It was none other than the master of the Heavenly King Hall, who had remained silent until now. Zhigu's summoning seemed to confirm that the Heavenly King Hall's master had sided with Xinling Hall. His strength rivaled Zhigu's, a fact that unnerved many. Under the intense scrutiny of the crowd, the master of the Heavenly King Hall raised his head and directed his gaze toward the Xun'er patriarch and his companions. His voice, calm and indifferent, spread across the heavens. Xun'er, I have my reasons. The words left everyone stunned, confirming that the Heavenly King Hall's master had indeed allied with Xinling Hall. If the Xun'er patriarch and his allies made a move, they would face the full might of the master of the Heavenly King Hall. You shameless old dog of the Heavenly King Hall. As the leader of the 8 Kings region, you stoop to this? The Xun'er patriarch roared in fury at the betrayal. So, do you still wish to oppose Xinling Hall? Zhigu mocked, his eyes gleaming with malice as he looked at the Xun'er patriarch and his companions. The betrayal of the Heavenly King Hall had thrown their plans into disarray, plunging their hopes of rescuing the Xun'er sect into despair. The heavens fell silent, the atmosphere tense as everyone awaited the Xun'er patriarch's response. Time trickled by, with no resolution in sight. 3 days have passed. It seems that boy is too scared to show himself, Zhigu sneered, shifting his gaze toward the spatial prison below him. His eyes gleamed with madness as he observed the terrified faces trapped within. Time for the execution. His voice resounded, and he raised his hand. A terrifying energy capable of shattering space rippled outward. You go and hold off that old dog, the Heavenly King, temporarily. I'll stop Zhigu. The Xun'er patriarch commanded the Heavenly Fire Supreme and the Sacred Matron, his figure preparing to rush towards Zhigu. However, just as he was about to dash out, boom, a terrifying aura, far surpassing the 9th grade supreme, suddenly descended from the sky. The space within a radius of 10,000 miles seemed to be permeated by a kind of black flame. Heh, it's finally here. Zhigu smiled faintly as he looked at the eerie black flames seeping out from the space. The sudden turn of events left everyone in shock. Under everyone's gaze, a massive space, thousands of meters wide, suddenly twisted in the sky. A figure in a black robe shot out with a speed that left many strong individuals stunned. As the black-robed figure burst out, a voice echoed through the heavens and earth. Release them within 10 breaths, or Xun'er Hall will be annihilated. Boom. The voice, filled with anger and overwhelming force, resonated throughout the heavens, causing thunder to roll across the skies. Countless eyes outside the mountain range were drawn to the sudden scene at the center. A figure, tens of thousands of meters away from Zhigu, emerged from a gigantic twisted space, rushing towards Zhigu at an extremely terrifying speed. A palm strike, containing a flame power that could terrify even the 9th grade supreme, was aimed directly at Zhigu. Facing the incoming palm strike, Zhigu's eyes narrowed. A monstrous aura surged from within him, and he rushed out, meeting the incoming palm with his own. The two figures streaked across the sky, their palms colliding. The resulting spiritual energy waves turned into shock waves that spread outwards. As the surrounding space shattered, all the mountain peaks within 1,000 miles collapsed completely. Such terrifying destructive power left many strong individuals speechless. As expected of Earth Supremes, the mere collision of their palms could cause such devastating destruction. Boom! In midair, the two colliding figures were sent flying apart. To the surprise of many, the sudden figure only stepped back a few paces, while Zhigu, on the other hand, was forced back dozens of steps, his expression darkening. Is that the lower dimension Powerhouse who offended Xun'er Hall? Heh, saying that he'll annihilate Xun'er Hall within 10 breaths if they don't release the hostages, how domineering. Almost everyone had their eyes on the figure, who had only retreated a few steps from the collision. It was a young man in a black robe. His face lacked the handsome features of a prodigious youth, appearing extremely ordinary. Without revealing his strength, he could easily blend into a crowd without being noticed.